Hi guys, my name is Mayank and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about some things that I learned after reading the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. This book is essentially a compilation of Naval Ravikant's interviews, podcasts, articles, tweets. So he has just shared all his knowledge in this book. In the beginning of the book, there is a question which has been answered as to why you should follow Naval Ravikant. So Naval Ravikant is an entrepreneur and investor, and he is also the founder of Angel List, which is a website that promotes startups. So he has achieved a lot of success in his life, and in the beginning of the book, it is said that you should follow Naval Ravikant because he is a rare combination of successful and happy. There are many people who are successful but they are not happy. So this is a rare combination, which is why you should follow him. So let's start with all of the points that I want to share in this video. I have a list here and I'll just start reading it. The first thing that I learned in this book was Naval has honestly shared about technology. So technology, according to him, is things that do not just work yet. For example, a few years ago, car was a technology because it was not foolproof, it was not perfect. Today it is perfect. So now it is no longer a technology. Today you can say that probably flying cars, they are technology. They are not completely perfect yet. You can also say that electric cars in India are technology because they are not perfect yet. So these technologies have a potential of earning a lot of money in the future, because once they become perfect, they would be suitable to the needs of human beings and they will sell a lot in the market. The next thing that I learned was about specific knowledge. So specific knowledge is knowledge that cannot be learned or it cannot be trained to someone. Essentially, he wants to say that as much as you are being yourself, you will be able to learn more and more specific knowledge. For example, you need to identify a set of things which have uniqueness about you. I'll give you a simple example about myself. So I like reading books. I like to watch movies. I like to watch shows. I like to watch documentaries, and I like to talk about these things. Many people do it, so that is not something unique to me. But let's say I add one more thing to this. I am an accountant as well. I work as an accountant. So now, once I have added this particular skill to my already existing skills of knowing about other things, it becomes a unique thing. So that is something you can call a specific knowledge. An accountant who wants to talk about shows, documentaries, books, etc. So this is something which you can build for yourself too. The next thing he talks about, and this is very interesting, is about building foundations rather than being an expert at something. Now, I wanted to inform here that if you are starting out with something of your own, with a project of your own, a company of your own, you need to have your basics very clear, because you will need to work on a lot of different things. For example, you will need to do the financing, you will need to do the sales, the marketing, the production, and all of the departments you will need to handle. So you need to have the basics of each of these things clear. Even if you do not go into the specifics, you need to have the basics clear if you want to start off with something of your own. The next thing is probably the most valuable thing that he has shared in this particular book, and also overall in his different tweets everywhere, that to be rich you have to own a piece of equity. The reason being that if you are working on a salary, let's say you're working for a company, your salary is tied down to the number of hours that you work. If you put in 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day, your salary will be tied down to that amount of time. Even if you work a little bit more, you will be able to earn a little bit more, but not that much. Now, the second component of this equation, which is the rate. Even the rate you can increase, but only to a certain extent. You cannot increase your skills in a great manner, in a radical manner. So essentially, it means that your income would be tied down to just this equation. Now, if you have to increase your income, if you have to become rich, you need to own a piece of equity, which means that even if you're not working, you will be able to earn something. And that will only happen if you invest in a company, if you invest in a stock, or if you are having an ownership in a company. The next thing is about leverage. Now, leverage is a method by which you can increase the production of your services or goods. For example, if you have a machinery which manufactures goods, then you can manufacture different copies of the same good. Now, leverage is something which everyone should own, and the easiest form of leverage that he has talked about in this particular book is permissionless leverage, which means that creating infinite copies of any particular thing on the internet. So, giving you a simple example, let's say if you write a book on Kindle and if you sell it on Amazon. Now, infinite copies of that book are available on Amazon. Any number of people can buy it and read it. So, that is permissionless leverage because you don't need anybody's permission to increase the production. In case of a company or in case of a factory, we will need the permission of the workers. If the workers do not work, they will not be able to manufacture more goods. You will be able to earn your income even when you sleep. The books will sell even when you sleep. If you create videos on YouTube, you will be getting views even while you are sleeping. The next thing is about achieving financial freedom. This is also related to the point I discussed earlier, which was about owning a piece of equity. If you have creativity, if you have high amount of creativity in the work that you put in, then you will be able to achieve financial freedom much earlier, because it would mean that there would be a lot of difference between what you create and probably what someone else creates. Giving you a simple example of probably movies. Now, if there is a movie which does not have anything extraordinary, it just has the same old storyline and not much something which is different from the other movies, it will not earn that much. But if there is a movie which is very creative, it has used some new concept, then it will earn a lot of money, and it will not be different by a small amount, it will be different by a huge amount, probably 5 to 10 times more. So if you have more creativity in any form of your work, then you will be able to achieve financial freedom much earlier. The next thing he talks about is about reading. Naval is really passionate about reading. He feels that everyone should read at least something every day. But he specifically has talked about non-fiction books here, that instead of reading a lot of non-fiction books, you should read the same books over and over again. In this book, he has said that you should read the 100 best books over and over again. I think even 100 is a big number for me, so probably even 10, 12 books, if I'm able to understand and totally apply them in my life, it would be great. But applying those books in your life will only be possible if you totally understand them. And you can never understand a book in one full reading. You have to read it at least 2 times, 3 times. Other than that, you won't be able to understand it completely. And the last thing he talks about is about envy. So envy, he says, is the enemy of happiness. I would say that whenever you feel like having the life of someone else, probably you feel that this person has a great life. What if I had the same things which he has? I think the simple question that you can ask yourself is, would I want the entire life of that other person? It would mean that 100% each and everything which that person has, I will have. If he has any difficulties, I will get that. If he has any privileges, I will get that. Immediately when you think from this perspective, you will stop wanting to be like someone else, because you don't want anyone else's difficulties. You have already been handling your own problems, and you will never want to take someone else's problems. So it is a total 100% swap or nothing. If you want the privileges, you have to take the problems as well. As soon as you think like this, you will stop feeling jealous of anyone else. So these were all the things that I wanted to share about this great book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, and I highly recommend that you read this book. You will learn a lot of things. This book is also added to my reread list. I will be reading this book again, and probably I will learn something new every time. So that's all I had for this video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching.